Everything Film is supported by Vancouver Young Actors School, their elite training program for young professional actors in Canada. Their team of pros offer the most advanced training for young actors. You can online check them out at vancouveryoungactorschool.com or at VY Actors School on Instagram. Joe Leary and Patrick Shelton with Season 2, Episode, I always forget this.
6.
Episode 6 of Everything Film from the Shark Club in downtown Vancouver. Our guest is Patrick Stark. Now, I'm going to do a little personal lead-in here because Patrick and I have a bit of history that I'd kind of forgotten about, and then it kind of resurfaced. And I don't know if you recall, Patrick, but I think you texted me or reached out to me a few years ago and went, "Hey, Joe, it's Patrick Stark. Remember that film you were in? Well, I've got the trailer for it." And my first thought is, Patrick Stark. Okay, yeah, film. What film am I in? But you was doing this documentary chronicling a quest to perform in public, which ultimately led you bigger and better, and your eventual goal was to get on stage with U2.
Correct.
And I remember thinking, good luck, man. That's a pretty lofty goal because U2 were the biggest band in the world at this point.
Right.
What prompted you to even embark on that journey?
I would say, bottom line, aging. So I was turning 40. I was just past 40. About to have my second child, and I thought I had lived a life that was very phobic, and I'd been working my way up through the film industry, but I didn't feel like I was doing what I wanted to do. And anyway, the fears, I just didn't want my fears to be passed along to my kids, and so I wanted to confront the fear. And
you went through top shelf
through exposure therapy. So just dipping the toe in the water. I didn't know how I was going to do it, and I thought, well, it'd be fun to. I sort of recognized all the concert posters around the city. I had gone from being an assistant director to, putting up concert posters. So it's like my career life was crashing, but I noticed all the lead singers on the posters, arrogant and, that ego is there. And I thought, how do they have the guts to get up and do that day after day? I love singing, but I've never sung in front of anyone in my whole life. And I thought, maybe that's the fear I should approach. And then I started seeing the U2 posters, and I don't know how the thoughts sort of, amalgamated together to have me come up with this idea to sing with them, but that's where it started. So I set up a stage outside BC Place Stadium and hired session musicians, and I sang 4 U2 songs at U2 while they were rehearsing, and just try to get the attention. So, you can't go directly to U2's management and say, I'd like to do this, because they'd be like, yeah, thanks, bye. So how can I get their attention? So that was the gist of it.
And we stayed in touch because I remember there was a night they were just down the street here at Shambar.
Right. So
and I think
was flash forward 6 years.
You texted me going, oh, my God, they're in the corner, in a booth in the corner, and you actually approached the band.
Yes.
And were it not for very unfortunate timing, you probably would have had that dream realized.
Yeah, well, that was... Through that 6 years, I interviewed so many people, and I'd done so many things. Like, I sang on the street with street musicians, and I interviewed a number of rock stars and authors and inspirational people, and got to that point where they were back in town, and they happened to be there. And I walked up to their table, and I pitched them. I had that pitch in my head, for 6 years. I'm exploring, trying to get rid of this fear. I've had a lifelong fear, and I'm doing it through exposure therapy, and here are the people I've interviewed. So I name-dropped Steve Lillywhite, their producer, Daniel Lanois, their other producer, and said I imagine myself standing on a stage in front of tens of thousands of people and sing one song with the biggest band in the world, and Bono said, sure, what are you doing Friday? Took 6 years to get there, but it was a germ of an idea 6 years before, and it was becoming a reality. So I was supposed to sing with the band, but... like you mentioned, Larry Mullen's father passed away, B.B. King passed away, and then I got bumped from the show officially. But anyway, you were my first interview.
Yeah, and it's called One Life, No Regrets. And just before we go into other areas of Patrick Stark's life, what's the ETA on this doc being released?
It'll probably be released and this is the 13th year since I started it. It's taken that long to get those interviews to be able to figure out what this all means and how I was to tell the story. But it will also be a book, so I've decided to write the book version of it first. And so I'm working with a publisher, Page 2, and that will be released in 2023. And then shortly after that, I hope I'll be able to finish
Well,
the movie.
it sounds like it's also like a tough ending for you. Like you wanted the right ending.
Yes.
That's
but
the
it's a real
storybook Disney ending, but you
Yes.
didn't get it.
It's a real ending. That's
so were
the
you waiting
difference.
for that kind of? Were you kind of like stretching it out, kind of waiting for the?
There
maybe
was a bit of that, yes.
Yeah,
there
yeah,
was a bit
yeah.
of that. So after I got bumped from the show here, I actually went down to L.A.
Right.
for their show. They were doing 5 shows in L.A. Actually, this is where we talked again, because I was in L.A. I brought my family down there. We're staying in a hotel. I thought, well, they already said yes in Vancouver. Sure, there's 5 shows happening here. Why not? And I get down there, and we were on, Santa Monica Pier, and then I waited for that. Joe texted me and said, "Did you hear the news? The tour manager died in his hotel room that night." So I thought, okay, kids, let's go home.
Oh my God! You must have been saying to yourself, "How long? How long can this go on?"
Oh, that
How
sounds
long?
like the song. That's
How long?
exactly.
I'm not going to sing it for you, but
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good reference. But they came back in 2017 for the Joshua Tree tour, and there was a lot of press around that because people wanted to see if it was going to actually happen. And a block away from here, I ran into Guy Osiri, who's their new manager. And I was even surprised I recognized him, but he was a lovely guy. And he said, "Do you want the good news or do you want the bad news?" I said, "Oh, just give me the bad news." He said, "No one's getting up on stage with you two on this tour. Unless you're probably really famous." And the good news is, keep in touch, and we'll see what happens.
Well, through the entire ordeal, and I will refer to it as an ordeal
It's
because
been
it
an
became
ordeal.
more than a passion project for you.
Yes.
But they probably presumed you're either crazy or just extremely dedicated. And I think I told
like
you
to think
before
the
that
latter.
either way that this doc ends, whether it ends with you on stage or not you on stage, there's no wrong or right ending there. There's an ending coming, obviously.
Yes.
But just I know the journey you went through, and you talk about reaching for your lofty expectations. And I remember thinking at the time, okay, let's see where this is going to go.
Yes.
But you were very engaging, and I'm still curious to see where this is going to go. So, God willing, fingers crossed, we'll have a conclusion soon.
U2
Yes.
is a big touring band. Like,
Yes, the
I
biggest.
Think they are the biggest. I think
They are
how many
the
times
most
they've been
successful.
I think they've been here like 5 times. I think I've seen them 3 times. Like they've been here a lot, Vancouver.
Yeah, they're
And
among
it's
the
like-
biggest in the
80s
world.
since
Yeah.
So
early
they're
80s.
probably on tour right now. They're like
No, they don't have anything they're
touring.
releasing. They're always
No.
they're
They're-
not doing an official tour
Nothing.
right now.
No.
Yeah, but we'll hear they'll release another album, and there's a tour right behind it. I don't
Always,
know
yeah.
how many tours there will be, but look.
So
at
you've
Rolling
kind of been a
Stones.
big fan though as well.
Oh
right?
yeah,
Like
no, I
just they're
started
your favorite band.
I
and
started
that kind
listening
of
to them in the
thing, and-
early '80s. When
I
I was
guess, yeah.
in high school, and they really weren't as when I started listening to them, they weren't this big, massive band. They were a small band that was making their way. This is during war and unforgettable fire, so they hadn't
Right.
yet hit the Joshua Tree. But I liked. I was watching them on MTV and watching Sunday Bloody Sunday. I thought, who are these guys? I couldn't just musically. I didn't feel like I could just jump on and listen to all the bands that everyone else was listening to because they liked it. Nothing appealed to me, and
It's
and
too
there's
bad
something
you
about
didn't.
too.
Too bad you didn't know them earlier, because you could have jumped on stage at the Commodore
Yeah,
when
that's
they
right.
played there. But there's a lot more to Patrick Stark than One Life, No Regrets. And
Right.
you've been on sets a long time. Like you've
Yes.
been in I guess a set rat. I know you've done assistant directing. You've done a lot
Yes.
of stuff, and it's kind of a homecoming whenever you think about the film and television community in Vancouver, because. I mean, there's a really good scene here, and you've been a
Yeah.
vital part of it. Was it X-Files where you really kind of got your first experience in directing?
Well, so I was an assistant director on X-Files, so I was just I was their trainee AD in the 5th season, so their last season here. And I would say X-Files was the one show where, because it was a TV show that was shooting like a feature film, and it had a huge budget, and every episode was a big deal, and it was a tough show for me to work on, being on set for those crazy hours and all that time in every kind of weather and circumstance. But the people that worked on it were unbelievable. These are the best of the best working on that show, and I'm learning from all of these people. I didn't go to film school. This was my film school, and it was I had to recover from working on
So
it
was
for a
that
few months.
the point where, because the show moved production down to L.A.
Yes.
After the famous David Duchovny "Too Much Rain in Vancouver," which
overblown.
As a Vancouverite, what's my biggest complaint about Vancouver? It rains too much.
Yeah, of course.
Get over yourself, Vancouver. We rain a lot here.
Yeah.
But so at this point, the show is a well-established show.
Yeah.
Was there any thought that you might go, or was it?
Well, the funny thing happened was I got along well with the cast, and I loved those guys. They were great, and the crew was fantastic. I don't think many crew actually went down, but the one thing that David and I did together was play basketball. There was a hoop on the studio set, and it was just sitting there idle. No one was shooting hoops. I found a ball from props, and so my way of unwinding was just to go throw free throws and just shoot around, and David comes bang out of his trailer. Oh, someone else can play basketball. And so he and I, every single day, would play elbows up, serious one-on-one basketball. And so when the show was finishing, he said, "Do you think you could come down to LA?" I thought that might be a good reason to go down, but I think it might also be a difficult way to get down there.
So bonding with David Duchovny, that's not a bad thing.
He's a good guy.
So you are, I guess we can refer to you as veteran now in terms of the amount of years that you've logged in the industry.
32.
You don't look that old.
I'm 54.
54. You're wearing it well. And there's no hair and makeup on this show either, folks.
I had to go get my own done. So stop by the Mac booth.
So what's going on in your life these days? You're still working to complete One Life, No Regrets.
Yes.
What else are you? You're in doing some agency work as well?
I have a creative agency, so when after ADing for so long, and when kids started coming along, I just knew I couldn't live on a film set anymore and do those hours. So I thought, what can I do? And I ran an agency for 2 years, which wasn't easy, running my own business. I was not a business guy and didn't, that kind of crashed and burned. And then I was hired as an in-house producer for a media company that specialized in public company shooting, almost like very corporate, cheesy CEO videos.
Do you do jingles for radio shows by any chance?
No, I don't. But I fell in love with animation. So in that studio, they had motion graphics designers, and I fell in love with that, and I started building that into the commercials I was building for these guys. And eventually I wasn't getting paid what I wanted to get paid, so I started my own business. And this is where all these other jobs came in. So I didn't want to go back to the film business doing what I was doing, so I picked up every job under the sun. I hope nobody would see me do them, but that was everything from putting up concert posters to gardening to swamping furniture. So it was like, that's when I felt like it was sort of sliding backwards. But I did that so I could build up my creative agency, and so that's what I do now. And long before COVID, I've been working from home. So I've always thought of how can I work remotely. And because I'm OCD, I've always have wipes handy, and I'm always washing my hands. So
well,
I've been preparing for it for years.
And you have kids. Any of them following in Daddy's footsteps?
Yeah. Well, I've had my son in a commercial, and I put him in a film. I co-directed a film with an Academy Award winner in 2017, Ali Light, and it was a short film. She's a documentary filmmaker. We made this other movie together. It was her writing. I brought her up here from San Francisco, and she came up here with her on her own time, and she put up the budget, and we shot that here. It was Oscar qualified, and it played in festivals around the world. It co-screened with Eleanor Coppola's short film in San Francisco, and so some good things have happened. Mm-hmm. Actually, stepping away from the Hollywood set, some good things have happened to me on my own, and I think all my peers in the film industry now are directing episodic television and doing exciting things, so I'm excited for them. That's just I just took a different road,
Well, when we're in season 4, maybe season 5, One Life, No Regrets should be
we'll have a book here.
We'll have a book.
You will be in the book.
So I'm still in the film.
You're
as
in
it sits here in April of 2022, I'm still in the film.
You'll be in the It was a great interview.
Well, you know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen? It's going to come out, the book's going to come out, and then Bono's going to come and sit down next to you and go, "How's it going?"
Or they could sue me for a lot.
There's no wrong conclusion to
no
this
wrong,
thing.
I know, right?
The bottom line is that it's really my story, and it's about dealing with anxiety and phobias, and they are just... If you've ever watched Waiting for Guffman, it could be very much like Waiting for Guffman, Waiting for Godot.
Yeah.
Guffman never shows up. Maybe Bono never shows up.
That could be a real cult following type film.
Oh,
you
I'm
know?
going to promote the hell
Like
out of it.
I think it's something that could go that way.
Well, I think it's resonated with a lot of people. People with anxiety.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
with phobias. People who have big dreams. People who love rock and roll and all kinds of things. It's all in this story.
I'm looking forward
and
to
it's
it.
just
I think
my
that
own.
would be great.
The thing is that I have to tell myself to be. When you tell your story, it's not about telling the story so you make yourself look good. You just have to be real in all the terrible things and ugly things that happen to you along the way. You just got to be real and tell your truth. And
Do you have a little
hopefully
clip or anything available that you have anything
Oh yeah, I've got
like
some
that?
clips. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
can
sure.
you send a couple clips that we
course.
can use and
Yes.
we can put it? We can actually put it
For
on
sure.
the show.
There's some stuff that we use that aren't in the movie, but they're sort of great, still great.
Yeah, if you
clips.
could, that would be great.
Yeah.
You send it to our video team for sure.
Yes.
Patrick Stark is his name. One Life, No Regrets is the project. Fingers crossed we will see it in the next couple of years. Thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to see you.
Everything Film is supported by Lisa Borsato, Remax Platinum Club winner. If you're in the market, experience is key. Lisa Borsato and All Points Realty Group on Austin Avenue in Coquitlam have the team to meet all your residential needs. Visit lisaborsato.com.
Now, I don't know what's next. Hopefully, I get another opportunity to do this.
Why are you doing this? Paraphrase me. Why are you doing this?
Why am I doing this? I think I guess I've always admired people who are able to do things that I have always been afraid to do. And and not just singing, so many other things. I mean, I admire people who can get in an airplane and fly to Europe. I mean, that for me is freaky, and I don't know if I can do that. That's a new movie. But I've always admired the rock star who could walk out onto a stage and face thousands of people and just let it all out for, pour their heart out for that many people, all in one thing. But like I've learned along the way, you're there to just give what you have, and you're not there to hopefully receive anything. You're just there to take whatever, whatever comes your way. But you're there to give. So I guess that's how I felt tonight.